Hey guys, it's Joey, and this is the spell for this week's Ogham. The Ogham is Aeon, or Fir, or Pine, depending on the interpretation. And the spell is Ring of Truth. It's a truth spell. And we're going to go through each little bit in detail as we do. This is just how I would set it up. It's going to be a little bit more simple this week than some of the other weeks. And I think in matters of truth spells, it's nice to keep it relatively simple. And we're going to discuss the candle as well at length. So if you're looking at the candle thinking, what the? Then we are going to discuss that at length as well. So let's just have a little bit more light. There we go. So the components of the truth spell is the white candle at the centre, and we're going to discuss that properly in a minute, and on a white tea light base. And there are 4 quartz points around the candle, and then 4 tourmaline tumblestones, I suppose, more than anything. These are a little bit more point. And they sort of look like the Ogham in a circle of salt, thyme and pine needles, with a eucalyptus incense burning down there. And that is the basic setup. It's basic, and it's basic because for the truth it's easier to keep things simple, because lies get complex but the truth is often simple. If you notice, the circle on the cross is also symbolic of Brigid, and she has her justice aspect. So this spell would be really great for matters of court cases and justice and things like that, where the truth was just not being revealed and you wanted the truth to be shown. Primarily though, it's about stopping lies getting to you, stop people lying to you, stop deceit being allowed into your life, because the candle at the centre represents the self. And I think we'll discuss the separate components and finally talk about the candle. The white candle, by the way, represents the self. So the 4 quartz points amplify what is coming in. The 4 tourmaline points ground and support you if the truth is likely to be unpleasant, and filters out any sort of negative vibration that comes along with the truth. So if the truth would be used to wound, it kind of helps filter that out. And the circle of salt is very protective and very purifying. So again, it's purifying what's coming through and not allowing that to be used against you. Pine is a great purifier, and thyme is used for truth. You may or may not wish to place a piece of paper under the candle with a petition about the specific situation, if you wanted to be very specific. Okay, so we're going to discuss the spell candle at the very centre now. Let's go that way. Okay, so this is what I call my chunky monkey spell candles. And you start off with a basic spell candle, and you're basically going to carve the Ogham, or if you didn't want to use the Ogham, you know, carve truth or something into the candle itself. And then I anointed it with clary sage essential oil, and then I did my chunky monkey technique of applying mugwort. And what we're going to do is we're going to waddle over here and talk a little bit about how you would do that. So here's the clary sage. So you carve it into, and then you anoint with that, and you're filling it with your intent the whole time. So if it's a very specific court case and you need the truth to come out, that's what you would be focusing on. And for the chunky monkey effect, I would just put mugwort into a bowl and have a tea light, or a cheap tea light, because they're just cheap and easily available, and you just sprinkle mugwort loose onto the, just loose like that, and then you would drip the tea light on top, and you would keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it until you ended up with something like this. And it's quite time consuming to do that bit, but it's good in one way because you are pushing for the truth. So the time that it takes to do that really helps you you're sealing your intent into your spell cauldron. It's obviously more of a potent spell candle than it is a pretty one. It's not particularly pretty. The other thing you could do, of course, if you so wished, is you could grind up your mugwort into a finer powder, and then you just sprinkle that on top, and then you would pour your other wax on top to seal it in, and it would be a lot finer. That's personal preference and just how you feel about it, because you can, while you are crunching up or grinding up your mugwort, you can be filling your intent with it in that, or for the chunky monkey technique you'd be imbuing it before you put it in with your hands. For me, I prefer the sort of chunky monkey one for this. I prefer it to look a little bit more organic, a little bit more like nature because of the Ogham element. So it looks a little bit more tree-like or bark-like once you've actually finished applying it. It also sort of keeps the raw shape of the herb, and for truth spells I prefer that. I prefer the unchanged truth, if you like, and so I just sealed mugwort on as it was, but that's entirely up to you how you would wish to do that. If you didn't want to use mugwort, you could use sage, you could use nutmeg or thyme. So that's it for this video on a truth spell, Ring of Truth. Many blessings.